Hi, Jessica.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Alrighty. Before we begin, I just wanted to briefly go over confidentiality again. Um, of course, everything that you say will stay between us, but of course, if there is an instance where there's abuse suspected between the elderly, persons with disability, or any children, I will have to report. Also, if there's any indication of hurting yourself or others, I will also have to report that as well. Do you have any questions for me on that?
No.
Okay. So I know on your intake forms that you were filling out that you were saying you weren't feeling so uppity anymore. Can you just tell me more about what brings you in today?
Yeah, I mean, for a little bit, I've been just feeling really down. I've been really sad. Um, I haven't really had an appetite lately. I don't really go and do anything. Um, I go to work, school, basically, because I have to. I don't really have anybody supporting me financially. Um, so you know, I can't eat. I'm always tired.
That doesn't sound very fun to go through. When did you notice these symptoms starting?
Well, I just recently went through a pretty serious breakup. Um, it's kind of difficult because this was the first person that I've seriously dated, and um, also the first person that I felt like fully accepted with. So uh, losing her was difficult.
Losing a loved one is never easy for anyone. How long ago did you all break up?
About a month ago.
Okay. And how did you feel prior to that?
I was feeling really good. We were really active. Um, you know, we both like to paint, so we would go to art shows and we'd hang out with our friends, and uh, everything was seeming pretty good. I started feeling a little more confident, and then she left me, so kind of put me in a bad spot about how I feel about myself too.
How do you currently feel about yourself?
So I just feel not very comfortable with myself, especially when it comes to other people. Um, I just don't feel comfortable being myself around other people. Uh, my like lack of motivation and just uh, being by myself all the time. That's kind of sent me spinning with not so great thoughts about myself, and I just feel like I'm digging a hole farther and farther into this sadness. And I just kind of feel like a loser.
It's a terrible feeling. It sounds like, just feels like you have no escape. A little overwhelming.
Yeah.
On a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being like suicidal and 10 being like, happy as can be, how would you rate your feeling right now?
Um, Today like a 3.
Like a 3.
Yeah.
And where would you say you were about a month ago?
When we were together, about a 9 or a 10.
Okay. And you said you're really uncomfortable, is what I heard. Can you describe what about your situation is making you feel uncomfortable?
Well, I've just kind of always been uncomfortable with well, my sexuality, uh, just because I was raised in an Irish Catholic family, really Orthodox, so they kind of like ingrained in me that it wasn't okay to be gay, and it wasn't okay for me to, be myself. I feel like I've accepted the fact that I am gay and that there's, I no longer view it as a sin, but it is difficult because I know that they still do. And so it kind of makes me think that that's how everybody's going to treat me and view me, as a sinner and gross and just, you know, not worthy of love.
I hear a lot of despair going on there, but a lot of self-acceptance at the same time. I mean, you're telling me this, and I don't think any of those things of you. So I think that you're just a woman trying to find love. But you mentioned work and school. Can you tell me more about those environments for you and how they view maybe your sexuality or anyone there?
Well, nobody, one person at my work knows, just because my roommates do know, and they are friends with my roommates. So one of them knows, and they've all been accepting. I joined an LGBT group at school, just because I was really, well, I went with my girlfriend at the time at first because she knew that I was having some issues. Um, just feeling a little bit confident about myself and about my sexuality. So she was really trying to help, and I think that's the big reason why we actually broke up, because I wasn't willing to be more open, with in all areas of my life. Uh, so
Is that something that you accept and want to, like, maybe work on that, or is that something that you want to just kind of lay under the rug? Or
no, I mean, I think I definitely would like to work on it. I think that I'm kind of sick of being, put in the dark, and uh, I want to be myself around people, and I feel like a huge part of me is hidden away, and I want to know how to feel comfortable coming out to people. I didn't know anybody gay growing up, and if I did, nobody was ever going to come out and say it because we were so harshly ridiculed, in the Bible at church. I mean, those were the only people I was around, really, and so I don't even know what that would look like or feel like, but it's definitely something that I desire and I really want, and I don't want to keep losing relationships because I'm afraid of being myself.
sounds like a very difficult thing to go through growing up, but it seems like you've gained a lot of support coming into college and going into the LGBT community and being a part of that, and it sounds like you also have a good support system with your roommates. Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with them and how they've viewed you lately and seeing you go through this breakup?
Well, they kind of pushed me to go to counseling just because I'm really close with two of them, and they were really involved with me as well. They love art. We would all go to the art shows together. They were friends with my girlfriends at the time, and they were always really accepting. We take classes together, so I think they've noticed that I've really kind of shied away from that, and I've really just been alone when I wasn't before. So they definitely pushed me to come here. The other one, it's kind of weird because I feel like she thinks I'm attracted to her, so I feel like she doesn't feel very comfortable whenever I'm around. And I want her to feel comfortable, and I want to be able to have open conversations with her about, hey, like, I'm not attracted to you. You don't have to worry about just because I am like a lesbian doesn't mean that I find her attractive or would ever do anything to manipulate our situation. So I want her to feel comfortable, and I want me to feel comfortable too.
Do you think that that would make you feel comfortable telling her that? Or why do you think that she feels uncomfortable? Has she expressed that to you in any way?
Um, Not directly, but I can just feel it. I can feel her kind of, if she's like in her underwear or something, she'll rush away whenever I come into the house and get dressed. And so I feel like it's because of me. Um, but it hasn't been directly stated to me.
Okay. Would that be something that you're willing to address and talk to her about, or you're not quite there yet?
I think eventually. I'm not sure if I'm at that point quite yet.
What do you think your overall goal then would be in therapy? Just give me a broad idea of what that looked like.
Well, I think eventually with the comfortability, I'd really like to work on that. But also, as of now, like my sadness and just my, you know, isolating myself, like I really need to work on that because I I can't keep if I keep doing this, I'm just gonna go farther and farther down that hole, and I can feel myself slipping away, and I don't I don't want to accept that. I want to move forward.
Sounds like you want to go the other way.
Right.
So tell me then, what would it look like for you to, get out there again? What small thing do you think that you can do in the next week or so? Something with your roommate, something by yourself?
I mean, my roommates are always pushing me to do stuff. I have been like a little resistant, but I feel like I've kind of gotten up to the fed up point. So I definitely could do something with them, and we're interested in all the same things. So it's not like I would be doing something that wasn't enjoyable for me.
I know you mentioned like doing artwork and things like that with your roommates and other people in your life. Would you be willing to like do like just an art night with it, just within your roommates, just kind of get yourself out of your room and interacting with the people that support you and love you and care for you?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Just like a little step because it would just be right outside my room. It wouldn't be, I think, too overwhelming for me at this point.
Yeah, it takes time. You're going through a lot, so it's, small steps are good steps sometimes too. So just being with the people that support you and love you and stuff like that while you're going through this is usually really helpful as well. Um, but I was also wondering, like, would you be willing to maybe write down some positive attributes that you see in yourself between now and the next time that we meet? Just whenever you're feeling good, like what's going through your head then, just kind of jot it down and we can review those thoughts when you come in next time.
Yeah, I can try to do that.
Um, Now you said only one person at your work knows, but you're still going to work and going to school and doing that, but you're not really. How are you feeling about those situations there?
I mean, I'm definitely distracted. Uh, I still am going, which I guess is good, but I'm definitely not present. I'm a server, so it does affect like my money because I just feel like I'm not caring as much as I used to. I'm a really good student, but I do see like, I spend a lot more time on my assignments, and I can see like, you know, I'm not getting the exact grades that I was before. So I can tell there is some issues.
sounds like you get a little distracted.
Yeah.
Understandably so. You're going through, a lot right now. You said you only have one person at work that's aware of your sexuality?
Yeah.
And that's only because they know through your roommates, so it's not somebody that you told. And how do you feel about them knowing, even though you didn't tell them?
I mean, sometimes it's a little like relieving that I have somebody there who does know, because everybody kind of talks about like, oh, look at that good-looking person over there, or this person or that person. I can't really like join in, but when it's him, I can kind of talk about it and be a little more comfortable in that situation. Um, so it's nice to have somebody at work who like I feel like actually knows who I am and not like a lie of who I am.
Yeah. Sounds like you have some pretty good support in your life, and you just want to be able to comfortably express yourself to everyone else, not just the people that you know, But you didn't tell them,
Yeah.
and they're fine with it. So what makes you really think that everyone is gonna?
I don't know. I think the way that I was raised and just being around that constantly and just being told that I was wrong all the time, I can't really get past the thought that most people aren't going to think that way. And most people that I actually really care about too. I do really care about my family, and it's kind of upsetting that I can't even be who I am around them. I have to put on like a facade, and it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like very difficult to deal with not being your true self around the people that you care about most. Um, but I know you said you were feeling like a 3 today. What would a 4 look like for you?
I think, I don't know, maybe just doing something besides staying in my room.
Is there anything that you like to do on your own?
I like to run sometimes, be outside, I like to write.
Would you like to write? Would you like to maybe journal some of your thoughts instead of just that one? Maybe try to push yourself to 2 positive thoughts or something like that. Or even if you're not feeling good, just write those down too. Just kind of journal how you're feeling and what's going through your head at those times, and you kind of look over those.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely used to do that. My parents found my journal when I was younger, so I kind of was straying away from that for a long time. But I mean, now I don't live with it, so I could really be like more honest about it.
Yeah. You're not going to come in your room and find it now.
Yeah, hopefully not.
You have a little more privacy being on your own and things like that. So if that's something you like to do, just kind of write down your thoughts. And even like what you're doing at that time, just kind of like what behaviors are going on. If it's, you're noticing you're just in your room, kind of writing down your thoughts, or if you're like wanting to go for a walk and feeling great, writing down that you're doing that, kind of just journaling your behaviors and what kind of coincides with, your thought process when you're doing these things.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. Sounds good.
Nice to bring some awareness to, your behaviors and your thought processes. It kind of relates to your emotions a lot of the time, and it just brings a little insight and gives you a better idea of like, in cognitive behavioral therapy, the way that things go in a circle. Your thoughts influence your behaviors, and your behaviors influence your emotions, and it all comes full circle. So just being kind of aware of those things that are going on.
Yeah, I can kind of see how that would work.
So I know we talked about doing the journaling a little bit and just trying to think more positively. But when it comes to your school, you also said you were in the LGBT community. Is that something you're still partaking in, or?
I haven't been recently since the breakup, but I would definitely like to go back and start meeting with them again.
Is there anybody in the group that you'd be willing to meet with individually, just kind of like being around the people that love and support you?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely reach out to a few people. A few of them have tried to reach out to me since I wasn't there anymore, but I just kind of ignored everyone.
I'm sure they miss seeing you around too. I know like going to grab coffee with a friend can sometimes just help lighten your mood for the day, even if it's just an hour out of your day kind of thing. So, but I know you said you wanted to be more comfortable with yourself. So what do you think that looks like to you? Just expressing yourself in an open fashion. How do you think would be the first step to do that?
Not really holding back as much as I do. I think I kind of gave the example before when everybody's, talking about who they're attracted to or their dating life or whatever. I have to hold back, even though I do want to like engage in the conversation. I just I tear myself away from it, and I think that would maybe be like a good first step to feeling more comfortable, just kind of being more honest and
I'm hearing you have to do this, and it sounds like you're in the way of expressing yourself and not other people really their thoughts, or what do you really feel like you have to?
I mean, it's definitely about myself too. Um, no, I think it's really difficult doing anything that you haven't done before, really.
Mm-hmm.
You're not experienced with. I kind of like being good at things right away. And so knowing that this is something that I struggle with is a struggle for me. So I don't, you know,
That unfamiliarity of the situation is just not something you're used to, so it's
yeah, and not having any examples of it either growing up. Or, there's some now, but I just haven't really identified with them. So,
everyone's experiences are different, so it's completely normal not identifying with everyone exactly, but you can always gain some support from those people who have been something through similar, and kind of use them as, practice.
yeah,
They already know. Just getting comfortable with saying it can kind of help you get to comfortable saying it in general. So
that's true, and I could do that with some of the LGBT people that I've met just because I know that they've had to come out of the closet a lot too, so most of them have. So just talking about it, I think would probably help.
you're not telling them anything they don't know.
That's true.
I think that's a good start for moving forward and not going down that rabbit hole, kind of going the other way and moving forward with your life. That's more so the direction that you want to go.
Yeah.
But I do want you to possibly work on that homework for me and just kind of be aware of the thoughts that you're having when you're, even when you're down and when you're feeling better. And if you can, on that scale of 1 to 10, rate how you're feeling at that time too. So just get some more insight and things like that, especially when you're doing these activities with your friends and stuff in the LGBT community and trying to be more active with your roommate.